Hello, welcome to Best Top 5. Today I'm talking about a martial artist, fitness guru. He's also on Instagram. He does a lot of cool, inspiring videos that want me to get into shape because he's always mentioning that you should get into shape, you should do this, you should do that. And that guy is Michael J. White. This guy, you know, he has a lot of good movies that are direct to video and people don't talk about them. Sure, he had a small role in The Dark Knight. He had a small role in Exit Wounds. Those are probably the only theatrical films that you may know of, but he has really, really good ones which we're gonna be talking about on this list. Number 5 is actually a movie that was released theatrically, and that is Spawn. Yes, the movie around Michael J. White isn't that great. The visual effects have not aged very well, but Michael J. White gives a great performance as this guy who was killed, double-crossed, and sent to hell. And then when he comes back, he has this crazy armor. You know, he can put this really cool mask on and a cape that looks like it was made on Windows 95. It looks really terrible.
You sent me to hell, Jason. I'm here to return the favor.
You also have John Leguizamo playing this hellish clown. It's really, really weird. And I didn't even know John Leguizamo was in this movie. It wasn't until many years later that I found out he was playing the clown. There's some really, really bad CGI towards the end when they go to hell. It looked even bad back then. It's kind of like Mortal Kombat Annihilation CGI bad. Curious enough, it was released by the same company that did Mortal Kombat Annihilation, New Line Cinema. That is number 5, check it out. It's available on DVD and Blu-ray. I really enjoy it. Number 4 is Never Back Down 2. Never Back Down 1 is a terrible movie, but Never Back Down 2, it's not good either, but Michael J. White is the perfect thing about this movie. He becomes a trainer who trains these kids who are gonna be in this tournament, and you actually care about the training process. He becomes like a Mr. Miyagi who you actually believe he knows shit because he's like an 8-pack. I was invested in the story. If you like, you know, movies where it's a tournament and the people are just fighting each other, that's pretty much it, and a really shitty love story in between. Someone needs to get him a better agent to have him in starring in bigger production movies. Because when I saw him on the screen on this film, I was like, shit, I want to see him in an actual, like, maybe a Bloodsport remake or a Kickboxer remake or something like that. Number 3 is another movie that he did a sequel to, and that's Undisputed 2. Undisputed 1 is a pretty good movie with Wesley Snipes and Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames in that movie is the guy who is a heavyweight champion and he's sent to prison and he fights another big heavyweight champion in prison. And part 2 follows around the same story and introduces a character named Boyka, played by Scott Adkins. Again, Michael J. White's in prison. He has to defend himself the only way he knows how, and that's using his crazy martial arts that you never knew how he had them in the first place. It doesn't need to be explained because with that 8-pack, you know, anybody can beat the shit out of anybody. If you like action movies with prison-related stuff in them and tournaments, you're gonna have a good time. Check out Undisputed 2. This one I've tried finding on streaming services. It's not around. Number 2 is another movie that you can find on streaming services. It's actually out of print now. It's Blood and Bone. Blood and Bone is probably one of his best films. It's a hard-hitting action movie with a lot of fights and has some of his best serious performance in it. And this movie has only like a 6.5 on IMDb. That's why I don't really rely on rating system. All the Cinema Score, Rotten Tomatoes, trust me, trust Best Guy. The Best Guy we trust.
I want you to tell every motherfucker behind these walls that if they get the notion to fuck with me, don't.
Watch Blood and Bone. Believe me, it's really good. I don't want to ruin anything about this movie because it's really an experience. Number 1 is a movie that he wrote. He didn't direct, but he stars in it, and it's Dynamite. I saw this movie when it first came out, and I didn't even finish it. I couldn't get into the movie. And then I saw it the second time, and I ended up liking it the second time in 2018, and I ended up enjoying it. I thought it was really, really funny. It's very quotable. It's an homage to blaxploitation films. And even if you haven't seen many blaxploitation films, you're gonna enjoy it because it's making fun of also like cheap productions, bad acting.
Well, let me speak to the man in charge.
Sarcastically, I'm in charge. I don't.
The movie's fun, it's really hilarious. Even if you like kung fu exploitation films that came out in the 70s, it's a good combination of those two in one movie. And it feels like a movie that was released in the 70s because it's shot that way. It's shot on film, and whatever filters they use to make it look that way, it works. And there's even some stock footage that fits very well with the film. There's 2 versions of the movie. There's a theatrical version and there's a screener. I don't know where you can find the screener. The theatrical version is enjoyable on its own, but there's some scenes that were excluded from that version. You gotta give him credit, you know, sure he releases movies like SWAT 3, Under Siege, but in between those movies, he has movies that he stars in where, sure, the script isn't very good, but he actually cares. There's one that he did recently called Cops and Robbers. It's awful. But the guy gives a performance, like he cares. Even if the line sounds terrible, he'll find a way to make it sound like, yeah, a guy would say that, yeah, like, you know, I believe that, even though it's a really shitty line. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this list. I'm Best Guy. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell button. Let me know in the comment section down below if there's a Michael J. White movie that you've seen that I didn't mention. And hopefully there's other Michael J. White fans out there. So until next time, bye.